Hey, 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 good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John. Sorry for a late start today, but my wife is actually considering job change. So we were up there talking through pros and cons, and it's a big thing. She's been with the company for a long time, and she's considering moving on. And, so we wanted to talk through a little bit, and she just got off the phone with HR at the new place. So that's why I'm late today. So not for any other reason than that. But good morning, and how you doing? I think we should start to rant juice. Eddie. Yeah, rant juice. My rant juice today is tea, actually. And I'm drinking. I have a Linfield Mom coffee cup today. But yeah, I woke up with a spiking headache this morning, so I apologize if I'm a little bit ranty today. And I apologize a little for the rant yesterday too. I know the rant yesterday, I'm going to address it here in a minute, but that ruffled some feathers. I can tell you that. That rant yesterday was fun. A little bit. It was angry a little bit, and boy, oh boy, did it get people talking. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But let's get started off with our normal review of what happened yesterday. Now, I asked you in chat yesterday what you wanted me to do because on the paycheck, we're playing the Dolly Ladderson right now, and I can play it two ways. I actually can play it three ways, maybe four, I guess. The Ladderson is a line bet laddered up after a loss. That's all that it is, right? It's $30 on the don't and a $15 don't come bet. And if you lose, it goes to 40 and 20, and then it goes to 50 and 25, and it goes to 60 and 30. We're just, laddering up, and we stay at level until we get our paycheck. That's the whole thing. It's a grind. It's a freaking grind, right? I can play it from the don't, or I can play it from the pass line, right? Pass line income instead of don't pass. It's the same thing, same pattern, just different side of the table. The first day we did it, I did that. It didn't work out so well. It worked out great. We won money, but everybody hated the fact that I switched sides. They want to see the strategy played straight. So fine. We went back and we're doing the plain Ladderson. But the other way of doing that thing is to go, small flat bet and have the odds go 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, and just kind of ladder the odds up to whatever the size is going to be as you want to go. It's the same concept, right? It's staying on the don't, it's laddering up, but it's laddering odds instead of flats. Now, I asked in the poll question yesterday in the chat, what do you want me to do? You want me to do the flats or the odds? Can I switch? Is it cheating if I switch to odds versus flats? Is it a bad test of the strategy? And you guys freaking voted 50-50. It was like 51 to 49. It was a 4-vote difference between all of you. So thanks for not helping. So what I did was I ran them both, and both players won. The odds player won faster. They were also down 50% bankroll pretty quick. They were down quick. Like, talk about being underfunded. $1,000 as a bankroll when you're having two bets out there with 150 each in odds. You're way underfunded. We needed that 7 to get that guy to win. A little scary, but I'm going to do it today again. I'm going to run both. I'm going to run them side by side today so you get a sense of which way you might want to play this. Again, the paycheck is designed to win me the paycheck, but it's also a little bit of a teaching thing too. I want to make sure that we're aware of what we're doing and give you some ammunition, I suppose, right, to make decisions. So I'm going to run them both again today, and that's the plan. So I'll let you know what my thought process is there. So let's go back and move ahead here, and we'll address a couple things from the come out roll. One is going to be the Friday night fights with Craig going for the 4-peat. Or the 5-peat, I guess, going for the thumb here. I forget who you're playing against, and I'll try and do better at figuring dealers out during the week. We're not doing the crapsy table. I forgot to mention this last night, or yesterday morning. We did it last week with the crapsy table, and I'll tell you, there's such good and bad about this, and we have to really maybe have a dedicated vote on this thing. But doing it in crapsy makes it go so fast because the players are in control of their own bets. It's super accurate because you can't have me or Jeff or Chris messing up the payments, right? It's good for all those reasons, but nobody likes it. Like, as far as the feel of the show goes, so much negativity on that part of it. There's a balance between crapsy's accuracy and speed and live people dealing and talking. We got to strike the balance, and I think part of the problem is we aren't very good dealers. We're not quick enough anyway. So. But yeah, I'm going to roll crapsy out there every so often. Like once a month, we'll do a crapsy version of it. So just be ready if you're playing the game. It may be once in a while we'll do a crapsy version of it, but it's not going to be a regular thing until either Crapsy or Win Craps figures out how to do it simultaneously. So that's that. We talked about this briefly yesterday. I've been talking to Duracell a little bit over chat today about how we're going to do some of the business stuff. Jen and I owe her a conversation to talk about it. We haven't talked yet, but I owe her some time to get some questions answered about this thing. But we're going to be, like I said, the main takeaway from yesterday's talk about that is the transparency. I just want to be transparent about what we're doing. We do want to make money. We do want to get paid. We do want to do our thing as creators for the time that's being put in. But also, this is all about community and the Craps for the Cure. So maybe Craps for the Cure becomes the 501c3, and maybe CDTV stays what it is, and we still find a way to make it all happen. But yeah, nothing will go unseen here. I'll make sure that we treat y'all like a board of trustees or whatever you want to call it. And I'll just throw it out there so you can see where we're at every month. I want to take the sheets off, so to speak, so you can see what's happening. I don't plan to be what do you call it? Hiding behind the money thing. So just want to make sure that you are aware that I am planning to be transparent about it. And again, the quick reminders about the meetups. By the way, is this, September Seattle, and we know October or November for Vegas. Plan for, if this weekend goes well for me, time-wise, plan for sign-up sheets. I'm trying to get the fundraising website that we'd used for Craps for the Cure last year cleared out, and I can use that to register people for the event. So I'm trying to get that thing cleared out this week if I can do it. Then over the weekend, I can reset it for Craps for the Cure 2023, and then we can get signups done for both of these events. There will be things in Seattle that I'm planning that we'll do Craps for the Cure donations for. So one thing is going to be a registration fee for the Seattle event. I'm thinking like $25, like not a whole lot. Get you a sticker and some chips and that kind of thing, but really, that's going to go right to Craps for the Cure. And I'm thinking that at the tables here in Seattle, we'll do a couple of pass the racks that'll generate some income. And again, we're trying to get the casinos. Hopefully, Ian, this is your job. Once we get our times locked in for the private tables, I want you to see if we can get them to help match the donations for the pass the racks. It won't be much. But the pass the rack, I'd love to see if we can get them to do a little bit of a match. That'd be great PR for them. It would really help the cause. So we'll think about that as well. So there's that. And I want to readdress a couple things from yesterday's Just Say No rant. Now, first out of the gate, I want to acknowledge one thing. I swore a little bit more than I normally do yesterday, and I get fired up sometimes, and sometimes some of that comes out. And so I know that that's not super professional and whatever. So if it offended you, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Sometimes it is. I got to be better at that. I got to be a little more professional in the way I deliver things. But the passion and the message I stand behind, and that's the thing. So let's hit a couple of these things that I want to clarify, because that show yesterday generated a ton of comments on the site, a ton of text messages, and a ton of emails. Not all of them positive, I can tell you that. Some people just did not love what old Johnny had to say. More than anything else, it was some of the messaging wasn't very clear, and I want to make sure I clear a couple of things up. And the first thing I want to clear through is this: why do I go to the casino if I feel this way? Now, Ken from Ken Knows Gambling put a video out where he basically said, "Hey, good job on everything. However, it's your personal responsibility. Like, all that going in. And I gave you a whole list of reasons never to go to a casino, right? And I know it going in, and yet I still go." And my message, and Chiro even asked me, "Are we supposed to not go to the casinos? Is that what you're telling us?" Like, that's not what I'm telling you, right? That was more of an eyes wide open thing. Like, I want you to know what's going on behind the scenes. You've got to know to check your receipts for that 4.8%, whatever they're calling that, concession fee on your meal. You got to check your signage when you walk in to see if you're going to pay a 22% extra fee on your meal that's not going to tips. That feels like it is, right? I want you to know that when the person behind the counter at the pizza place is flipping the screen over to ask for a tip, and like Jen pointed this out, it's not them asking you for a tip, right? That's a systemic problem. That is the casino saying, we're going to cap your salary X. Tips are going to be a way that we expect our clientele to help augment your salary, we're adding this to the software, and you got to flip this over. Now you put me in a bad position, right? Where I feel awkward. That's what that rant is about. It's not about the people asking for the tip. It's about the systemic problem of tip culture that now corporate has become. And you'll notice that it only happened when we switched minimum wage around. Something's different in the way that things are being done. I don't know what it is. And it was a highlight of that. So yes, go to the casino, have fun, do your thing. I love craps. I love roulette. I love Bach. I love all the games. I like the game of cat and mouse that we as players in the casino have with these games. I just wish they were more fair. So I will only play fair games, right? Or only make and I say fair, I'll only make fair bets. In other words, I'm not going to make a center action bet when it's 15 for 1. I'll make a center action bet when it's 15-1 or 16 for 1, right? I won't play 000 roulette. I won't play 6-5 blackjack. And I won't play things like the ATS or like most of the bonus bets that are just attacks, right? I just won't play those things. I will still go, right? And my purpose of yesterday's rant, again, was an eye opener. You got to see what's out there. Make your own call, right? And like Ken said, have your personal responsibility. Like, I'm going to put myself out there at risk to do the thing because I want to. And I knowingly take the risk. If you're going to knowingly bet on a 6-5 blackjack table, then you're, in my opinion, making a mistake, but you're knowingly doing it. I want to highlight that. How bad of a difference it is 6-5 blackjack versus regular blackjack. The house edge on that is ridiculous. You can't overcome the house edge. Even card counters can barely get it to even on those kind of tables, right? It was an eye. I want you to have your eyes open. That's all. Why do I go to the casino? Like I said, I love the cat and mouse game, and I believe honestly that through disciplined money management, through disciplined play, and through non-crazy strategies, you can come out a winner most of the time. And I would like all of us to be winners most of the time. My show, my existence on YouTube and this channel is all about that. How do you lose less often, less money? How do you win more often, maybe less money, but how do you consistently beat them? That's what I want us to do, is consistently beat them at the games that are worth playing. That's what it's about. So I'm not trying to drive you away. I want your eyes opened up. That was the point of yesterday's rant. So there's that one. I've addressed already that the non-service staff presenting a tip screen is not their fault. And it's not, I'm not tipping you because I don't like you. It's because I disagree with what's happening up top. And sometimes the problem with this is that person ends up being the victim of that whole thing, right? Because the corporate structure now has forced us into having to tip to help them get their money, but we're like, what the hell are we tipping for? So there's this weird mesh in there, and it sucks. And I just want to highlight and call it out that without getting political with everybody, that kind of thing, there's a huge problem here. And I think you're seeing it manifest itself in those screens are the first stage of this thing. And what's happening in restaurants especially is especially bad. Tipping for good service, tipping in advance of or in recognition of good service, that's the service industry. I think that people are getting tips that aren't in the service industry. You know what I mean? Like tipping the person at the hotel counter doesn't make sense, but that's what corporate is forcing that down now. And I think that a lot of the things I bitched about yesterday used to be, I think, cost of doing business. Like a casino would say, okay, free parking, the free drinks, which now you got to, I guess, put in time before. I think I've seen this too. Somebody said, by the way, at the slots, you don't get a drink until the light turns green because you have to play there for a certain amount of time. Whatever. The free drinks, the free parking, not having to pay extra fees at restaurants. That stuff used to be a given, right? It was a write-off. Resort fees and everything, right? The casinos just wrote that shit off. Like, okay, we're giving free internet. Who cares? We're going to give them free drinks. They can park. Who cares? Let's get them in. Let's get them in. They'll lose money. We'll be fine. I think the pandemic changed a lot of that. I think they had to find ways to stay open, and table minimums went up, and all those ways to stay open just stayed. You know, what used to be a write-off now is they're trying to even the bottom line and start from zero with the gambling versus the gambling having to eat up and make up some of their quote unquote loss or write-offs before they go. It's just, to me, there's enough there. There's already enough juice from us losing to way more than accommodate that stuff. And I think if they want, you know, I don't know, people still go. The problem is that everything's full, right? Vegas is full. Tables are full. People are putting up with all the crap because I think a lot of them just don't know any better, But as long as we're putting up with all that stuff, right, they're going to keep on doing it. I think we just got to find a way to make it go away. I don't know. The 11 of us that are here can fight the man, I guess, right? I think that's it. The last thing I wanted to say was this. And for those of you in the audience who I do this to, I'll apologize to you publicly here. I do this a lot, right? I'll say so-and-so, or like so-and-so says, or like so-and-so throws, or if you're this guy, or I always, whatever, if you want to play the way that so-and-so plays, or you want to, I always do that to you. I feel like we're friends and I can call you out sometimes, right? There's some of you out here that right? I mean, Nemo and Victor and Ed and a lot of people. I call you out by name because people know you and know who you are and they know what you're about, kind of thing. So if I have a point to make and you're the perfect person that kind of illustrates the point, sometimes for a good reason, sometimes not for a great reason, but that's why I call you out. So I'll try and do a little less of that because I know that that's not always great to do that. You're here. I know you're chatting and you're publicly in your chat, but you also deserve a little bit of respect in there too. So I will make sure of just keeping that front and center. Okay, so that was what I wanted to say, and I think the final point here is this: should you play where you can win regardless of the negative? And I think that's the ultimate question here, right? All of what I said, if I can win. And again, you know who I'm talking to here. If you can win on the crapless table at Harris, or if you can win at the $100 table at Bellagio, or if you can sustain the $25 parking fee to come in and you have the greatest 000 roulette strategy on the planet, and you can win there, should you still do it? That's the question. And I'm not going to answer it for you. That's for you to answer. That's what Ken was saying yesterday. Your personal responsibility is this here. My answer to that question is no. Even if I can win on a crapless table, even if I can, God forbid, throw 2 times the normal number of ATS numbers, or the top, tall and small, right? Should I still play at those tables? No. Because of what the tables, I think, those rules and those limits represent. They represent the crushing of regular Joe player. To me, they represent this targeted bleed of you. So no, I personally won't patronize those tables and those houses, right, that do that kind of stuff. I won't do it, right? I'll stay at Harris. I'll play at the regular table, and I won't play center action, and I won't play the ATS. I like their rooms, and I don't park there, so I won't feed parts of that beast. I just won't do it. If you want to play crapless and you can beat the table, then by all means go play it. But in my personal opinion, filling those tables up means more things that they're going to put out there that are worse for most players. And that's why I personally just I'm voting with my feet on some of these things. You got to vote with your feet the way you want to vote in your wallet. If you can beat it, go play it. Even if I could beat 000 roulette, I still wouldn't play there. And that's just my personal 2 cents. Okay. So, here we go. And Duracell's saying, right, just win. If you can't shoot, you can't win. I get what you're saying there. But if you can, like, I think you said yesterday about roll to win. If you want to go to roll to win and play roll to win because you can throw good in that table, fine. That's up to you. I'll never play that game, right? And I know that and I said it yesterday, I'm being disingenuous by saying I won't play roll to win, but I will play stadium. It's the same thing. It's a table that you throw on. There's one person who's not a craps dealer there and a bunch of screens. There's a vibe difference there. There's a licensing difference. There's a whole. I look at stadium in a different light than I do the other one, and that's that. All right, let's move on. Let's talk craps a little bit here, and I want to get into strategy and what is a strategy. So here, let's ask some questions. What is a strategy? I think this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna go to the table actually and do a lot of this from the table, but I want to talk to you really quick here first. A strategy is nothing more than this. And I think people have labeled me as a strategy channel. I'm really not. Waylon is a strategy channel. Sideshow Gamble, strategy channel. Vince Armenti, strategy channel. Guys that are coming up with new ways, but Craig to some degree, right? finding new ways to play. Skill is a strategist, okay? Strategy is this: betting some amount you're willing to lose on what you think is going to win. That's a strategy. That could be one bet, it could be 6 bets, it could be 35 different moves, right? Ultimately, that's all that it is. It's putting money down where you think it's going to win. And it's putting an amount of money that you don't care about losing, right? You got to be like, hey, I'm willing to put 66 bucks out there for a couple of rolls. I'm willing to lose that money. That's my strategy, is to bet that money against the house to do a certain thing. I think we confuse strategies though with play styles a lot. And a play style is when you employ some kind of a strategy that matches, whatever it is, your risk tolerance, your bankroll, your goals, and your aggressive conservative nature. We talked about this a few weeks back, right? What kind of player are you? And you, as a player, your play style dictates what strategy you choose to play with. Like as an aggressive, high risk loving guy with a huge bankroll, my strategy that I choose to play might be a 640 across Wayland's mind, right? Or something along those lines, right? That might be my thing. If I'm a $500 conservative player, right, with a low risk tolerance, my strategy might be a skill 66, which lets me play for a little bit while, right? If I'm medium, it's different. Play style and strategy are often, I think, conflated. We talk about skill, and we talk about, what a snowflake player is. I don't want any risk at all. I'm averse to risk completely. I want no skin in the game. That's a play style. The strategy chosen for that is oftentimes a lay plus a little bit of an inside bet. You follow what I'm saying? So you merge those two, and that makes you a player. I think you have to think about how that kind of works. So, with that said, and I wish these points weren't floating in like this, but strategy positions, I think, is the thing we got to talk about. It's like, are you light or are you dark? Are you technical, or tactical rather? Are you putting bets where you want them to go, or are you a rhythmic player where you're letting the dice choose for you, right? Tactical, 44 inside, rhythmic, $10 come bet with odds. I don't get to decide where the bet goes. I'm gonna let the rhythm of the table bring me to it. One of the things that one of our friends, Ed Robinson, here I am, I'm calling people out. What Ed says a lot though, which is important, is bet what's hitting, right? His strategy isn't a named thing. His strategy is to put money out there, and what he's rolling, he's betting more on, right? It's a rhythmic thing for him, but it's tactical too, right? He's putting money purposely where he wants it, and then he's betting more when it happens. The rhythm player who's betting to come is doing the same thing. They're putting money out there. What's rolling is hitting. So they're making more money as the things hit. It's the same concept, okay? It's better how you see the world there. Are you aggressive or conservative? Which goes into pressing. How do you press, or do you just same bet? I saw a guy wrote me a comment the other day, and he's like, literally said, "You're an asshole. Same. If you're pressing, you're losing. Professionals always same bet." Okay, fine. That's his opinion, and I think you can take from that what you will. Again, your position in life is this: are you playing a long game, or are you playing a short game? And if you take all these ors and combine them with what we saw on the last screen, right? Your strategy is where your money goes. Your play style is how aggressive, conservative, risk averse you are. And you say this, and you can put all these together. I'm going to be a light side, rhythmic, aggressive player there for the long game. You can kind of go through those things, right? And say, well, what kind of a player are you going to be? And I think I can draw here. I think if I do this, we can do things like, let me see, if I do this, like you can be a light player on the rhythmic side, playing an aggressive style, short game, which might be, 3 combats with max odds and I'm out. It could be that. You could be a dark side tactical player. I'm going to lay the point aggressively, right? Like Wayland would say. And I'm there again, short game. I'm gonna lay that point 3 times. We're gonna ladder that bitch up. We're gonna take out $1,000 and be done, right? As you go through these things, where do you want to be? Dark, tactical, right? Conservative. This is the Dolly Latterson. As you evaluate your strategies and the way you want to play, this strategy position decision here becomes part of the algorithm, I think, of what makes a good strategy. So when you start thinking like, what is the phases of play that you've got, you know this, right? We go with your initial risk, whatever you're going to throw on the table, it's all at risk at some point, right? Everything's at risk. Getting even, getting your early profit, and then of course your big decision here, do you escalate your bets after early profit or do you walk away? Escalate or exit. I think that's another decision you make. So again, your strategy comes into all those things, right? Light, dark, tactical, rhythmic, aggressive, conservative, and then you get into like, how are you phasing through? What is your decision making? And I think at the end of all of this, we can come up with an algorithm that makes a strategy yours and the way you want to play. Okay, the algorithm is this: I'm willing to risk some level of money on this, that, or the other thing until I make X amount of dollars, and then I will do whatever. You can fill in the blanks here. And again, being informed by the other stuff we talked about makes your algorithm, your strategy play work, right? If it's the skill 66, I'm willing to risk $66 between the or on the 5, 6, 8, and 9 until I make $22, and then I will press until I make $28, and then I will regress. That is my strategy, right? That is a way to craft the strategy. If you're a controlled shooter and you want to play it more like what Ed would say to do, I am willing to risk $36 on the 6 and 8 until I make, whatever. I think he presses up to $60 and pulls until I make $70, and then I will spread out, right? And then I will grab the next number that hits. You fill in the blanks here as you want to play it out. That's a strategy. So the Iron Cross and the Dolly Latterson and the whatever and the mind and all these things, they're just names we give to this little algorithm here. You got to decide what you like, how you want to play it. And I think this is, when we say strategic or a strategy channel, this is all that we're doing. I think all strategies are the same in the end, whether it's light or dark, whether it's tactical or rhythmic, whether it's aggressive or conservative, whether it's multi-step or single step, whether you're going to get in and get out or you're going to stay forever. They're all the same. I'm putting my money here for a little while until some condition happens, and then I'm out or then I'm in. That's what a strategy is. So we keep naming these things and making the coin pusher and all this crazy shit. Ultimately, it's putting your money where you think it's going to happen, and that's it. So let's go to the table. Let's go out there and play a little bit. I'm going to show you, I hate to say it, I'm going to show you a strategy that I've been playing recently. This has been fun for me. I've been trying to there's no crack in the code of this game, as you know, right? It's impossible. But what I've been doing is sort of combining some things that I like to do. And you know that when I'm in aggressive mode, if you watch my show enough, when John's aggressive, John wants to play the Philly special. Okay, that's one of my go-to favorite things to do. Or tier pressure. I think Philly special or tier pressure for the first wave of hits is a great way to get at it. And I'll show you kind of how that works again here. Really quick, but I want to show you how I get to it. I think this is the interesting piece. So if I set up 64 across, okay? Now, again, I'm going to make a point here, and of course the dice are not going to let me do this. I'm going to be sevening out all over the place, but let me show you what the tier pressure way of playing this is. And again, this is going to be a phase 2 system. I want to show you what I would do after I got here. So let's say 64 across is my target. Okay, let's get a point. Oh, good. We're going to start out with 7s out of the gate here. This is a 10. That was a 10, not a 7. It rolled. Points 10. The tier pressure way of playing is to get either 4 hits or something to hopefully repeat. Okay, so we have an 8, and we do a full press. So $14, right? That's going to go right to $24. And I'll put my profits up in there if I can get them. And there's a 9. So we get 2 hits, 1 hit, 2 hit, 9, pays 15 for 1. Full press, it goes to a quarter. That's 2 hits. If either of those numbers repeats or we get 2 more box hits, this phase will be done. If I get a 7, we're gonna kill it. Now there's a 5, 4, 9. That pays $35. Now what I do when one of my conditions was met, I'm gonna put $64 at risk, and I'm gonna press fully for 2 rolls, for 2 hits or 4 rolls, and then I'm going to regress back to 64 across, right? So I'll take my 2 hits that I got down. I'm gonna bring back 50, 62, 63 bucks, right? So by taking a couple of hits on a number, or if I would have gotten 4 total hits, either way, I'm out of the hand. Okay, that's a way to play this. And now I can do something different. I can half press, I can do whatever I want to. But a strategy like that is where I want to get to. So when I'm playing, I like to get to 64 across and do this move I just did. This becomes profit lock, not play lock. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm thinking to myself, if I know I can do that on a halfway decent little run, how can I get to be playing this for free? And here's, again, first part of the strategy. So what I'm doing now is something that looks like this. I've been going out, because one of my favorite play styles, as you know, is the skill 66. But the problem with the skill 66 is twofold. One is you miss out on the 4 and 10 early. And the second problem is, of course, the 7 kind of sucks. But we'll address that in a minute. Here's my recent go-to. It's 110 inside and $10 on the 4 and 10, regardless of what the point is. I don't care if I'm shooting, whatever. If I'm shooting and the point is 10, of course I'm on the pass line. We don't have the number. But what I like to do is 130 across, 110 inside, and the $10 4 and 10. And the 4 and 10 to me are bonus hits. They're here just so I don't miss out on them. These are FOMO bets, really. I'm not going to collect here. These are going to go to greens right away, and then I'm going to half press the 4 and 10 forever. They're going to go right to green and then half press their own little thing, okay? The inside bets are what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and keep rolling here and see if we can't get this thing to work out. There's an 8, 5, 3, 8. So what I do here is this. That's going to pay 35 bucks. I'm going to pay it like this. 30, there's 30, and here's 5. 35 bucks. It's 34 inside pressure. Boom. Take a buck back, and we go 2 units here, 2 there, 2 there. I didn't pay myself enough. 2 there, and boom. It's 35 and 42 on the inside. Everything pays 50 bucks. Everything in the inside pays 50 bucks. That's one hit, okay? Another inside hit, there's a 5. Now we know it's 50 for 1, and I go down to 44 inside, which effectively becomes 60, I gotta drop the buck, 64 across. Okay, what comes back to the rack? 130 bucks. That's what I started with. And 30 bucks in profit. And I'm at 64 across. And now, if I do what I just did before, which was the tier pressure, you know, press the 9, press the 8, whatever, and then take it back, that can lock another $64 in profit up. If I add 64 to my 30, guess where I'm at? I'm at 100 bucks in profit, right? That's the move I've been doing. That's a simple strategy. Give me a couple of inside hits. It plays the 66, the skill 66 style of play up and down, right? I'm playing for free, and I've locked up a tiny bit of profit in a couple of rolls. I love that. That's a great little way to get out there, right? Now I can come in here, and if we happen to get our inside, there's a 7, good time for it. But if we happen to have gotten those inside hits, let me mark that up right, like we did the first time, I could have taken another 60 bucks off this table. That's the idea, right? That's a simple little thing that I've been kind of working through. Again, it's nothing new, right? It's the skill 66 at the 110 level. That's all that is. And I love it because from 110, when you go 34 pressure, everything in here pays 50 bucks. You're instantly at that 50 for 1 level, which is awesome, right? If I'm rolling 4s and 10s, these can get up and generate some income as we go. So that's what I've been doing. I'll roll it out some more here because I don't really roll enough in the mornings with you all. And yeah, you can also, if you wanted to, let's put the 130 out there again. I'll go out here up and off, 130. 130 up and off. If you wanted to, no reason why you can't do this for a couple of rolls, right? You can make this feel like a little bit like, there's a 9, a little bit like the Storm, if you wanted to, right? You can take the 9. I'd leave it up, actually. I wouldn't really care that much, but I could take here and drop 150 bucks in odds down there, right? 150 to win 100, 10 to win 10. So I'm going to win 110 on a 7 if I happen to pick the 9, it'll hurt a little bit. It'll hurt. 125 will be the hurt, not the whole thing. But for some short-term protection, getting those first couple of rolls, not the worst hedge in the world, right? There's my 8. We're going to go 34, so 10, 20, $34 inside pressure with a buck change. Okay. There's a 3, which we don't care about. There's the 7, which we do care about. So we're going to lose all this up here, which kind of blows. But down below, there's 130 net loss, 110 net win. Welcome to hybrid craps. 110. Live to fight another day. Hard to get 2 hits, isn't it? Let's do it again. New point. New point's going to be a 4. We'll lay that one for 200. Again, looking to win $100. Can I get my hits? Can I get them? There's a 6. All right, $35. There we go. With my dollar change. And let's go. Another freaking 7. Are you kidding me? Now we're just gonna PSO here all day long while we're doing it. All right, there's another 100. Got to go at 130 again. Let's do. I'll set it up one final time and then we'll call it here because I got to get to the garage for the other show. But anyway, I just wanted you to see it. This is nothing spectacular. It's just trying to solve that algorithm. Not solve is the wrong word, but work within. Ah, shit, my whites just fell. Work within the algorithm. Right? Work within the idea of I'm going to put 130 at risk. Or I'm going to put $10 at risk first. Then I'm going to go 130 at risk. Then I'm going to go this bit of risk, right? We're just going to kind of noodle our way through this thing until something happens. Another one. Are you kidding me, John? Good Lord. So far, we've lost $20, right? Because we're getting paid 110 every single time. We're losing $20 a shooter here just because we can't get out of our own way. Whatever. I'm going to make it work one time before I go ladder seat. Let's get another point. There's a 4. There's a 4. My God, can I get this thing to work one time? Jeez. My first 8 rolls were like perfect, right? When I was describing it. Oh, Lordy. Look at this, another one. Oh my God, another 7. Jeez, I know I'm not paying myself. I'm not putting the 130 back out. I probably should. 130, I gotta keep doing that. God, one more time. One more time, famous last words. Let's go. 4 again. Back to the 4. Okay, lay it for 200. Can we just do this? My Lord. Ah, oh, gracious me. All right, you know what? I think we need to stop rolling dice. Just picked ourselves up there. Remember when I told you? Excuse me, that goes over here. Last week, and actually, I think I got a show coming out tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. We're going to be talking about going commando, about the hedging, right? So we had 3 times where we hedged off, right? We had $10 down here and some level of money up here. We had the PSO, right? Lost 20 instead of losing 130. That's the reason why you try this down here, which seems like, hey, that was smart and it worked, right? And then we had the 4, we picked the 4 off, and now we lose 210. What's the better scenario there for us, right? Losing the 210 every so often, right? When you pick the point, or losing 130 more often. That's really what it comes down to when you're thinking about these going commando or hedging options we have. Let's do one more round just to see the whole thing work. If we can do it, there's an 8. Come on now, let's get it to work this time. Let's not pick the 8. Let's get 2 different numbers and let's make a good example. There's a 5. Look at that. We're going to get one of these things to freaking work. There's $35. All right, there we go. Back to the rack that goes. Boom. 4. Remember I told you the 4 I don't count, right? The 4 and 10. There was $10 on it. It pays 18. It goes to a quarter. We buy it. They take $1 for the vig. And that will now get half pressed, right? The 4 is like a, we didn't miss out on it, is what we bet the 4 and 10 for, if it seems to work out. There's another 4. That's good. That pays 50. Half press. There's our vig. And there's a 5. Sweet. That's going to pay 42. Right? Go back down now to 64. So here we pull the move. Right, we're going to get back our money. There's our 130. This time we have $12 in props. Now we made it, right? Finally, we got through the whole damn thing. We can take this back. Pull off our odds. Don't care about the odds. And if the 8 hits, so what? To me right now, if the 8 hits, it's a tie. I'd rather the 8 hit so I can press it up, because this bet here now is meaningless to me. Now I don't care. The don't pass bet was there as a way to carry the water for those big odds, right? And now we'll do the tier pressure, right? We'll do the, and again, I'll put the profits back here as we do this. You can see kind of what comes back. Let's get lucky. Let's get lucky and have something work for us. There's a 5, right? Again, full press 6, full press of the 5. It's going to go to a quarter for $1. That's 2. Either 2 more hits or something repeats, right? That's what we need. 2 more hits or something repeats. 10. Sweet. 10 goes to a quarter with 2 change after the vig is paid. And there's the 8. Cool. So the 8 pays. That's our 4th box hit. We lose the don't. Get paid up in here. Now, that was a 4th hit. The 6 paid, the 5 paid, the 10 paid, the 8 paid. It all comes down to 64 across. This is your reset. This is the one time that we reset this thing. There's a quarter, 10, 10, and back. And after the move works, right, we pull back 75, 90, $95, $96, right? That's the profit lock. So first move, got to 64 with about $8, whatever left over. Second move, locking up some profit. Now, who cares? This is now FU money, and we just play. That's the strategy, right? If it works out. Again, is it earth-shattering? No. Is it new? No. Is it fun? Sure. Right? You get to do a couple little different things. You get to press a little bit for a minute. You get to spread for a minute. You're playing for free. You're locking up stuff. And ultimately, it solves the algorithm, or it fills the algorithm in. I'm willing to risk 130 for 2 rolls so I can play 64 across. I'm willing to risk that 64 across for 4 rolls so I can profit $64. I'm willing to risk the next $64 forever so I can make $1 million. Again, filling in that strategy algorithm that I showed you earlier, I think that's what I'm trying to do here. And again, I'm not trying to outthink the game. I'm just trying to have some fun, right? Just working through this algorithm. I'm willing to risk X on Y until I make Z, and then I will run, walk, press, same bet, half press. That is the takeaway from today, right? All your strategies that you play, that you concoct, that you find on the internet, they all fill the same thing. All strategies ultimately are the same. It's just a matter of putting your money where you think it's going to be the best. There's no outthinking the game. There's no predicting what's going to happen. I know a lot of folks out there are huge into trend betting. If they think they've got it wired and they can do it, God bless them. I don't believe I can do it. I don't believe there's enough charting I can do to say that when I rolled the dice this time, it means that the next time it's going to be something close to it. I have no faith in that at all when I'm just hucking and chucking. Zero. So it's up to you guys, right? Ultimately, keep it simple. Nothing simpler than that, right? It's a little inside press, it's a spread, and then it's a half press. There's like super easy. Does that make sense? And no, not pretend $10 table. All I have around me is 5s and 10s. So I'm playing $5 and $10 craps everywhere I go. Even in Vegas, there's $10 tables everywhere in Vegas. Everywhere there's $10 tables. So you can totally do that. That strategy right there works at a $10 table, and they are everywhere. You just gotta, not patronize the strip, I guess, right? You can take a little walk. You can get up at Harrah's in the morning and play $10 craps. I played $10 craps at Harrah's every day when I was there because I strategically went when it was advantageous to me to go. So, all right, guys, that would be it. I think that's all I got time for. It is 8:55. Let me go and switch gears. And let's jump into some questions and answers if we have it. Let's see. I have one more point. Do I have more points to make really on strategy? Let's see. I forgot that I even had this thing. I say, are all strategies really the same? Ultimately, whatever your plan is, ultimately you're just betting on what you think is going to roll. I guess that's kind of the summary here. That's sort of the final takeaway. And you're pressing, you're collecting. As long as you're doing it on some condition that you're aware of, don't press willy-nilly. Press with a purpose. To me, a $10 5 pays 15 for one. I drop a buck, it goes to a quarter, and from that point on, I'm collecting green chips. It's a green, it's a press by 10. 35 pays 50 for one. I take a green, I press a green. Right now it's at whatever 55 or 60 bucks pays 84. Right, I'm pressing it by another 40 bucks. It goes to 100. I take the rest of my rack. I'm on a rhythm with those things. Right, have your rhythm. Don't guess is the main thing. Right, have some kind of a plan in place as you go. And all of this, like I said before, that, all the craziness that we concoct, it's just complexity to satisfy us. Right, we have brains that want to work hard and think we're doing things, but we're really not. So have fun with all that. Have fun with the coin pusher is a good example, right? Or the marching soldier, right? They win. They're nonsense because you're moving money around because it's fun, right? You don't really think that they're going to roll a 4 or a 10 or a 9 and then they're going to roll a 6 or an 8. You don't really think that's going to what happen. You're just trying something, and that's cool. That's a strategy. It's a fun way to play. You're putting money where you hope it's going to win. In that case. So, all right, what questions do we have left over here? Let me take a look at the PCs on the board and we'll see. I got a few minutes before I got to go and win my paychecks. Let's see what's going on here. I think, Jeff says Nobo or Crap and Camper is up next. I got to check. I haven't heard from Nobo yet. I got to see what he's up to. Duracell makes a great point, by the way. And I think we did this last week. Crapsy lets the viewers play along. Now, one thing that we had a really hard time with Duracell, really, really hard time, and I don't know how to do this, is the Crapsy play that we did for the Friday night fights. Round 1 is 750 buy-in, round 2 is 150 buy-in, round 3 is your combined bankroll. It's really hard to get 30 people all their rebuys correct. I wish there was a button where I could, as admin, say reset the bankrolls 2. You know what I mean? That was really cumbersome to get everybody's rebuys in. There was 40 rebuys came in. So that was hard to get through. But the fact that you can play along with the same set of rules, I think is pretty awesome. There it is. Midmoyo, it is called Craps for the Cure. That is the name of what we're doing. We decided that actually Steve Press by One named it that because we can cure anything, right? Last year we did Craps for the cancer. This year it's Craps for vets. Next year could be Craps for something else. We can do leukemia or kids or whatever we want to. So yeah, Craps for the Cure. We can decide where that donation money goes to cure some ill. And there it goes. Jen, you're welcome. I did not mean to blame the workers for that. It's absolutely a systemic problem. The workers are at the front line of that thing, and I feel terrible because you're in a weird spot with them. So glad that made more sense. I had a dealer comment on one of the videos to never press. They said, why get back winnings when you beat the 7? I've done the analysis of it, okay? Early on, and this is what a great question. Early on in the rolls, we have to know this. You're at a huge disadvantage. Most shooters, 2 to 2.5 box numbers is all you're ever going to see. What I do here, right? We had 3 or 4 straight shooters today, right? Where it's either a 0.7 out or 0.1 hit and out. That's mostly what you see. That strategy I did today, where I press the insides and come down, requires 2 good hits to make it work. Pushing the envelope there. I'm really pushing probability to make that happen. What they're saying to you is, and I think I agree with this, if you're going to be a conservative player, you should always same bet the first one. So 110 inside, take your 35. Take your 35. Lock up $70 because that's probably all you're going to get. Then if the 7 comes, okay, you're going to lose part of your money, but not all of it. At that point, you start half pressing, because the way to overcome the weight of all the losses is to get more money out there. The only way to recover from loss is to bet a little bit more. You're not going to lose. You put 110 out there, win 70, you're net down 40. The way to get back your 40, right, is to win now 3 times. You got to win 35 to get even, another 30. You got to win 3 times to recover that 1 loss. Whereas if you're pressing, you can do it in 2 hits, right? You take a $35 hit, you press 34 inside. The second hit, you're back out of it. So you can mitigate time at the table by pressing, and you can overcome losses quicker, and you can accelerate wins quicker, right? On a 40 roller, if you're same betting, you're going to profit $500 versus 6,000, right? You just got to be smart about it. That's why I'm a big advocate of aggressive early, and then get the hell out of there, and then you can roll through it. I think it's decent advice, but it's not the only way, right? Because again, same betting, you'll bleed out just a little slower than everybody else will. Pardon me. Tom, I'm not going to the All-Star game tonight, but holy crap, did you guys see Julio rip out 41 dongs last night? Good Lord, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, I know it's a wing and a prayer. And when do I do that, Duracell? I hope I said it clearly today. I do that move when I'm already there. So if I go 130 across, which I know it's a big dump of chips out there. If I get my first hit, we press the inside. If I get my second hit and I'm at 64 across, I've got 64 across and I've got money in the rack. I've got $35 in the rack or so in those 2 hits. Now, when I'm looking to do the bigger pressing, I'm already in a power position or a safe position, right? Easily could take the $64 and walk with my $100. Or that's the time I think. And I think everybody's got this trigger point. When do I go? That's when I go. I go right away, get me to green as fast as I can, and then I'll start doing more conservative moves. And that's just, again, we said earlier, your strategy is born of your bankroll size, your tolerance, or not even aversion, but your acceptance of, or your thirst for risk. What is that for you? How conservative are you early? How conservative or aggressive are you late? I'm very conservative early. I'm very aggressive late. That's my personality. Some people are conservative the whole way through, and that's totally cool, right? Find your way. Fill in the algorithm the way that you want to fill it in. I think that's the most important advice that I can give anybody, right? So my final thoughts of this before we go upstairs and win that paycheck again today is this: play your way, play where you want to play, go into it eyes wide open. That's my whole thing. The casinos are trying to screw you. Know it. If you're okay with that, then take it. You can pay the parking, you can pay the tips, you can pay the fees. It's all good. If you didn't know about that and you do now, you're welcome. If you know about it, what can you do about it at this point? You can not do it. You cannot park there, right? You cannot buy food there. Don't buy food at a casino if you don't want to pay the fees. Like, that's what that comes down to. Go somewhere else and get it, right? To me, the casino used to be an experience. We'd go for the weekend, we get a nice room or a decent room. We get a couple of really good meals that you just can't get around town, upscale meals. You'd have a good time at the tables. Yeah, you'd lose a little bit, but it was an experience. Now that experience to me is kind of gone. Like, the thrill of that is gone. To me, the casino has become more of a job. Like, I'm going to go, I'm making my money, I'm getting the hell out of there. It's a tool to me. And I feel like I'm more at odds with them, where before I used to be okay with it. In my old age now, I'm just not okay with it anymore. And that's why I want you to know the things that I'm telling you, because I'm not okay with some of that stuff. You shouldn't be either. And so there are small things that you can do. All right, let's get out of here, guys. I'm going upstairs and doing the the paycheck. I will be out there in about 4 minutes or so. I'm just going to go refill my coffee cup, and I will see you. Thanks all for a great show. And appreciate your friendship and your and being here with me. So love you all. God bless. See you in a few minutes. Bye.